Hey you guys, this is a short flow where we're going to focus on a little bit more of emotional resiliency, finding a place of centeredness, and a little bit extra calming for our nervous system and mind. So if you have a yoga blanket, great. A pillow, maybe a towel would work. Yoga blocks are great, but just use anything that you have around the house to bring that ground up a little bit if needed. So let's get started, and I want you to take your legs out in front of you. And if you'd like to be sitting on a prop, you can sit on a block, a blanket, pillow, anything just to bring that pelvis up, make it a little bit more comfortable in a seated position. So I just want you to take either light fists or your hands. You can kind of rub them together for a moment here to build some heat. Now, becoming more embodied is a great way to start being in the present. You guys keep going. You can do inner thighs, low back. So anxiety typically is looking to the future, right? Time traveling into the future. And we're not living in the moment, making those choices to be present and noticing our thoughts. Finding that embodiment is a great way to bring you back to the present. So just kind of noticing your body, being able to find that container can be really nice and centering, grounding, calming. Let's go ahead and take those feet towards one another and just give the feet a little bit of a massage. So just rubbing up and down, maybe going through the toes. Thank you, feet, for everything that you do. We're so grateful. Good. And then take those hands behind your head. So I like to kind of give a little scratch to my scalp, where you can do a little bit more massage. Maybe even take those thumbs to the base of the skull and the top of the neck. Just kind of giving those muscles a little attention, getting some fluids moving, and also just noticing your body. And take those hands and give those ears a little bit of a massage and stretch. And take those hands down the jaw, and down the neck. Go ahead and land your hands at heart center, stacked on top of one another. Let's pause here for a moment. Softening the jaw, the shoulders. Noticing how just that bit of attention, that connection with your body might have helped bring you a little bit more to this place of now. Coming home to yourself. Let's take 3 more breaths here and begin to notice what's moving. Can you find the rib cage? Can you find the back body? Maybe the breath is moving the shoulder blades just subtly apart. On the exhale, the rib cage lowers back and in. The belly will move, just soften all that space, the belly, the shoulders. Go ahead and open those eyes if they're closed. And we're gonna start with a balloon breath. So from here, open up those arms, inhale. Maybe there's a little baby back bend, but our goal is to open up these collarbones and get a little bit of a stretch in that front body. And then exhale, round, and give yourself a hug. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll do this a few times, and maybe you're alternating what arm goes on top. And really just get this sense of love and compassion for yourself, especially as you give yourself that hug. All these little details are really meaningful. Last time. Nice. Go ahead and take those feet out in front of you into a butterfly shape and have those feet as close or as far away as it feels good. Now you're gonna grab on, actually it doesn't matter what side, take one hand to your shin, and we're gonna give a little tug, and that's gonna be our leverage point here. So inhale, the opposite arm is gonna reach behind you, and exhale, swoop overhead and reach for that opposite shin. So inhale, reach behind. Exhale, swoop. And if there's any place that you could use a little bit of extra time, maybe take an extra breath, feel free. Inhale. Exhale, opening up that side body, that waist, feeling that nice length in those tissues in the low back. Nice. And go ahead and come on up. Now use your blanket to support your knees. We're going to be on our knees a little bit in low lunge. Now, finding tabletop. As you're ready, we're going to keep the toes tucked this time. And as you're ready, inhale. That rib cage is going to lower towards the mat. And exhale, round. So just your classic cat-cow. And start to notice the spine. What wants to move easily? What feels a little sticky? And now we're going to start to change this. As you round the spine, begin to sit back towards your heels, really getting this nice opening for the low back. And a stretch in those shoulders. Let's do that again. So inhale, rib cage comes down, look up. Exhale, round and sit back towards those heels. Now last time, and we're going to hold in that rounded shape and really move the tissues of that low back. So really tuck, tuck, tuck that tailbone, sitting back. Should feel really good in all of this and the hips. So breathe into that tissue. Move the tissue with your breath. And come on up. Use your block as needed, just as a little point of stability. So you're going to take that front leg forward, that right leg forward, and then heel toe it out at a diagonal. Now from here, you're going to take that sit bone and circle. Make a circle on your mat. So really you're trying to get into that right hip, and lots of different angles should feel really good. Now coming back center, take that right foot in front. Good. Now from here, tucking that tailbone just a smidge. Now I want you to focus on ribs over pelvis here. So get nice and long in the spine without a back bend. See if you can find that connection, ribs over pelvis. And as you get long in the spine, the whole rib cage lifts, that whole basket. Now from here, let's play a little bit. So inhale, arms lift, fingertips connect. And exhale, take those arms behind. Keep the legs nice and steady. Inhale here, you can look up if that feels okay. Exhale, fingertips reach behind. Now the more that you can keep those arms straight, the more you're going to challenge that range of motion in your shoulders. Now the next time that your arms are center, hold. We're gonna take those arms in front, palms facing one another. Inhale here. Exhale, left arm swoops back and twist. Feel that twist through the rib cage. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Let's do that again. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Good. Back through center, and let's switch legs. Can you do it? Oh, with a little bit of balance challenge, right? Balancing is a great way to help us connect and be a little bit more centered. Now take that front foot, that left leg out to diagonal. Now this sit bone here is making a circle on your mat. See if you can find all those different angles in the hip. Both hips are going to be getting a lot of love, but that front hip is a little bit more of our focus. Now bring that leg forward. Tuck that tailbone and take a moment to inhale. Find that energy up through the spine. Crown of the head gets a little bit taller towards the sky. And you just feel this kind of connection all the way up through the spine. Now inhale, fingertips reach. Exhale, bring those hands down and try to connect those fingertips behind. It might not, and that's okay. But even just that attempt will get you that nice warming up, lighting up of those muscles in the back of the shoulders. Good, arms come forward, inhale. Exhale, right arm goes down and back twist. Inhale, center. Now use your exhale to get a little bit more into that twist. All those respiratory muscles, oof. One more time each side. Exhale. And exhale. Nice. Come on, forward and forward fold. And keep that blanket where it is. We'll be at our knees a little bit today. So as you're in this forward fold, take a couple of breaths. Feel free to sigh a couple breaths out your mouth. Just relaxing the neck. And just even notice how already you feel a little bit more present. Let's roll up that spine really intentionally. So nice and slow, finding that low back, all those vertebrae, riding up the spine, mid-spine, and all the way up into mountain. Take a moment. Hands off to the side, hands at heart center. Now as we find our way into standing, see if you can find those tripods, big toe mound, little toe mound, center of each heel. And just feel that support of the ground beneath you. Notice the heartbeat. Maybe even notice how lengthening that exhale calms the breath. Now open those eyes. Now here we go with our flow. So inhale here, arms are gonna lift just like we did in our low lunge. Now lift those heels if that feels available to you. Fingertips are gonna attempt to meet up top. Exhale, arms go behind fingertips, attempt to connect. Let's do that again. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale. Some of those little fine motor details, like connecting those hands, can bring us really this nice sense of coming into our bodies. Nice. Stay here. Step back, right leg. So we're coming into crescent pose, but we're going to balance a little bit extra in this variation. So instead of taking those feet wide, I challenge you, invite you to bring those feet a little bit more in line. So from here, I like to have my knee go a little bit out to the side and then really just kind of press into those tripods that are available, those tripod points. Connect, give a little hug of those legs towards one another. And here we go with our twisting. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, right arm swoops down and twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Let's do that again. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Last time. Coming center, crisscross forward fold. So step forward, right leg comes behind left. Now this is a nice place to have a block. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, dive left. So our right hip, right side waist is our focus here. Now maybe the fingertips come down towards the floor. Maybe that block is there to give you that little lift of the ground. Feel free to bend those knees as much as needed. And you're really just kind of concentrating on this right hip, outer hip, all the way down the side of that leg, that right leg. Coming back center, take that right leg behind, low lunge. So drop that right knee down to your mat. Inhale, arms lift. Now, a little bit of a camel here. So right hand comes back to your low back, tucking that tailbone, just like we did in the very beginning. So find all of those same connections. As you inhale, that rib basket lifts towards the sky. And then as you exhale, try to get longer with that spine as you come into that baby back bend. Core is very active here. The front core, the back core, everything's being engaged. Now come on back center. We're pressing into warrior two, but I invite you, instead of leaning forward, which is our way to get out of the work, I'm going to invite you to press back with that right heel. So your torso, everything lifts straight up. So nice full inhale here, connect through those legs. Exhale, lift and pivot into your warrior two. So take a moment here, press through those tripods, get really nice and heavy, like you're trying to press the floor away. Feel all of this nice engagement right up the legs. So you find your best warrior two. Now that back arm, right arm, we're gonna start to move. So inhale here, that right arm, that back arm is gonna come meet the left. Exhale, pull through. Let's do that again. Back arm, inhale, comes and meets the front. Exhale, pull through. Let's do that a couple times. Find the flow. Find that openness in the back body while you're staying anchored in those legs. Good. Now, coming back, center. Find that lunge position. Anytime that it feels more comfortable to drop that knee, feel free. Take those fingertips and we're going to touch the mat. Really get strong in that tripod on that front foot. Now from here, pressing, using that press of that front foot, you're going to come up into this diagonal kind of shape. Find that nice cobra length of your spine. Now from here, we're going to make our way into warrior three. So beginning to shift. Now keep that front leg nice and bent. The arms can stay behind you. Maybe they come to heart center. All of it's good. Take a couple more breaths here. Think of that nice sensation of becoming more at home in your body, in self. Lower down, ground those hands, step back, downward dog. Now take a moment to just rest here. Take a couple of breaths, wiggle, move, pedal out. Notice what your jaw's doing, your neck. Now begin to walk back towards your front of the mat, forward fold. Lengthen the spine, space between each vertebrae. Just noticing that length that you're creating. And begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Intentionally. Really notice the details. If there's a spot that feels a little glued together, maybe take an extra few moments to see if you can find movement there. Now inhale, arms reach, fingertips are heading towards one another, and exhale, lower those heels, hands come behind. Now the more those hands come back behind you, away from your body, the more challenge. Keeping those arms straight if possible, and stepping back left leg. Balance building crescent. So begin to shift and adjust those legs so they're a little bit more in line. That right knee, feel free to have it going whatever direction that feels most comfortable for your hips. Now give those legs a little bit of a hug, press through those tripods that are on the floor. This side feels a little bit more wobbly for me. Totally normal to have different sensations on different sides. We're asymmetrical as humans. So inhale here. Exhale, left arm swoops down and twist. Inhale here. Exhale, twist right. One more time each side. Coming back to front of your mat, crisscross forward fold. So take a moment, using these little transitions as opportunities. Bring that block to in front of you if that was nice on the other side, and dive forward to your right. Notice that opening on the left waist, making all this space along the rib cage, getting that really nice stretch all the way down that left leg. And just soften into this shape. Now coming back center, left leg comes back onto that knee. All those same kind of details, lifting that rib cage towards the sky, finding that length in the spine. Now take that left hand back to the low back, and as you head up, getting a little longer even in that spine, see if it feels good to have a little back bend. Now breathe. Make sure that you can breathe. Find that nice expansion in the rib cage. Good. Coming back center. Same thing this side. Prepare. Inhale. Exhale. Press through that back leg to come straight up and pivot open into your warrior two. Nice. All these challenges, these little itty bitty challenges that we have throughout our practice are all helping us bring attention to our bodies. All those details helping us focus. Meditation in motion. Now that back leg, inhale here, reaching for that front palm, exhale, really anchoring through those legs so you find that freedom of movement in the upper body. Good, just a couple more. Last time. Now we're pivoting into our lunge. So shift that back leg, heel heads towards the sky, and those fingertips come down towards your mat. Adjust feet as needed. Now this is a lot of work on that front leg. If you're feeling it, it's totally normal. Now here, rise till you find that strong diagonal shape with your body, long in that spine. So this a lot of times will want to happen. I want you to get long, finding that cobra through the spine. Lifting those fingertips behind you. Now we're shifting into our warrior three. So take a moment, lifting that leg as much as it wants to, keeping that grounded leg as bent as needed. I know it's talking. I know it's working. This is excellent training to breathe through the challenge. Breathe through the effort. Ground those hands, step back into your downward dog. Lower those knees, and let's find our way into a rest pose. So that could be child's pose, knees together, knees apart, and it could be puppy pose. Just whatever feels restful to you. That could even be crocodile, coming down onto your tummy, using those hands as a pillow. I want you to find a place where you can reconnect with your breath, that fullness, expansion. Find the exhale. Find an easefulness, allowing the beat of the heart to smooth out. Good. Last couple breaths here, just like we did in the beginning with that rounded cat position. I want you to see if you can take that breath into the low back, moving those tissues with your breath. So therapeutic, and it really brings to mind just how powerful our breath can be. All of the space, it breathes our whole body, right? So see if you can feel that happening in the shape. And as you're ready, go ahead and come on up. And we're gonna find our way onto our backs. Now we're gonna do a little core work. And the main reason we're gonna do core work for this flow, this practice, is to bring us to this place of feeling more centered. As we connect with our center, it does help us feel a little bit more centered. So let's do that. So come onto your back and use a blanket, anything if you need that for underneath your pelvis. Now we're gonna come into this tabletop position. Now from here, we're gonna start with palms framing the hips. I'd like you to just graze the mat with your low back. So instead of bearing down, that really restricts our breathing. So I want you to find just this gentle connection with the low back into the mat. Now from here, we're gonna alternate. Your priority, your goal is to keep that nice grazing onto the low back, onto the mat, and breathe. Begin to notice what's happening to the jaw, what's happening to the neck. Make sure that nothing is getting really constricted and tight. So those are kind of your cues to know what is really great for you today. So as you feel comfortable, we're gonna begin to change this a little bit, up level. So begin to float, kind of circle those legs, keeping that nice connection with the low back and the mat, and noticing that the other parts of the body can stay relaxed. Now, the longer you take those legs, the closer the legs go to the mat, the harder it is, the more challenging, the more load that you're adding to your center. So we're gonna up level this just a couple more times if you're up for it. Stay to whatever level is best for you today. Now, if you want to take this up to the next level, big inhale, exhale, chin tucks towards chest, fingertips reach towards those heels. So everything stays the same. Now, are you feeling centered yet? We're gonna go ahead and shift to the right hip. Begin to make sure that your breath is happening. Other side, left hip, oof. And let's be done. Oh, take those knees, hug them into the chest, rock, maybe shift onto that low back, massaging with your body weight. Good. Now, whatever prop that you have available, using either your blanket or your yoga block, go ahead and lift that pelvis up and set that the hips down onto your prop. Go and grab that right knee and let the left leg go long. So let's just breathe here for a couple of breaths. Notice this space, this length that you're making in this front of the hip. And I want you to take your breath there. Soften that place. Notice the neck, the jaw, the muscles around the eyes. Feel free to move a little bit if you feel like there's some spaces in that hip with the knee pulled in. Some spaces that could use a little attention. And then switch. So left knee comes in, right leg goes long. Just notice that space. Using your breath to bring some nourishment into that tissue. And just beginning to settle. Soften. Moving that pulled in leg, if that feels good. And then we're going to make our way into a supported bridge. So take both feet, land them onto the floor, and make sure that your prop feels really nice and comfortable on the base of your spine there. If you have a yoga block and it's a little high, sometimes it can feel a little uncomfortable on those vertebrae. So see if you can just kind of land on that lower part, more towards the sacrum, the bottom part of the spine. And then soften. Allow the breath to just melt everything a little bit more into the floor. Allowing gravity to just gently tug on those tissues. And using this gentle inversion to bring the nervous system down. Down, regulate, quiet. We'll stay here for a few more breaths and just notice if you can find a little bit more softness, a little bit more kind of letting go in the hips, in that low back. Feel free to shift a little bit if you could use a little bit of wiggling. And then we're going to make our way into our final rest pose. So find anything available to you to help support body parts that could use a little bit of a lift. I find that for a lot of folks that supporting the knees is a really nice way to soften the low back. Ideally, you are finding a place of ease where you can just relax and let go. A blanket underneath the head is often very useful to allow that neck to completely soften. And feel free to take a couple of breaths in the nose, out the mouth, and even that sigh, even the soft, gentle noise of the sigh can be very relaxing for the neck and the shoulders. So if you'd like to do that a few times, feel free, and just find those final wiggles as you settle in. Maybe even couch cushions, anything that you have around can work here. And don't forget, our final rest pose can be in any shape. So if you're feeling more like a butterfly shape with the legs, maybe knees are bent, anything that gives you a sense of ease, right? So there's less effort. Hopefully no effort. So as you're ready, begin to soften. And allow your exhale to bring a bit more heaviness into your body. Maybe just 2%, 3% heavier. Notice the head resting, maybe cradled in a pillow, a towel, whatever you might have under your head, just supported. And the muscles around the eyes begin to soften. Just feeling this sense of ease of the forehead, making your way down through the jaw. Maybe the tongue lowers from the roof of the mouth, allowing the jaw to go slack. Feeling that space between the neck and the mat, gentle slope. I'm beginning to find the heaviness of the shoulders, sinking, melting into your mat, feeling the support. Maybe finding that rib cage, noticing how it moves with this smoothness as you breathe. Winding down the spine, sending some love to each vertebrae, the space between each vertebrae. All the way down to the low back. Feeling that heaviness, maybe even to the point where there's this imaginary sandbag over the top of your hips, giving you this hug, this gentle, welcomed pressure of support. Following the legs all the way down to the heels, heavy. Feet relaxed. I invite you to stay in this place of ease, presence, maybe anchoring to whatever is meaningful to you today. Maybe it's a word, a verse, quote, anything that you want to infuse into your mind and body, every cell. Allow that to be what brings you back to this home base of presence. Stay here as long as it feels good. I'm grateful to have had this time with you.